Good evening, everyone. I hope your day is going as well as mine.
Hello.
Um,
It's been fun today listening to the news.
we have part two. Part two in the amazing saga that is the Israeli, Gaza, Hamas, Palestinian, U.S., Russia, Ukraine war. Sounds like a world war.
Wait,
I
did
don't
you
know.
put Iran in there?
Yeah,
Okay.
Gog and Magog.
Just
yeah.
yeah.
All of them make me gag and may gag some
Gag,
more
yeah.
later. So that's all I know. So we'll break down the rest of it because we have some other things we need to introduce because there's some developments that have
New
happened since
developments. Yeah.
Monday.
Yep.
So we'll talk about it. We'll be right back. All right. So here's my question, peoples.
Mhm.
If you are starting a war and you really want people to hate you, what's the best thing you can do? Start a war.
And
To
you want
start
people to
with,
hate you?
Hmm.
you want people to hate you?
Yeah, just keep starting wars.
Oh yeah, true, true.
Yeah, just keep doing wars. Now we're going to start off the program with a very wonderful, patriotic, um, humanistic, stand-up, wonderful guy. None like him. I want him for
Mhm.
president over Donald Trump any day.
Yes. I don't know who you're talking about, but yes.
If we can make him, if we could make it retroactive that he was president, and we can give him presidency until no one else is available,
Till
I want.
infinity.
Yeah,
Forever?
this
Mhm.
is who I want as president. I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah, Lindsey Graham, yes. I love
Why?
this.
Because he's strong. He's got strength. Okay,
He's got
lots of strength.
Strong.
Strength.
Yeah, lots of strength to him. Listen to this
Strong.
guy. Now everybody knows that Lindsay is a sellout, right? Everybody
Yeah.
should know that.
Yes.
Warmonger.
Okay, and he was good friends with
Neocon.
John McCain.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you know
Mhm.
what John McCain was about. Just saying. Okay, so here we go.
Warmonger. Yeah.
Right. Listen to what this guy's saying.
We're in a religious war here. I am with Israel. Do whatever the hell you have to do to defend yourself. Level the place. We're in a religious war here. I am with Israel. Do whatever the hell you have to do to defend yourself. Level the place.
Yeah.
Huh.
He also goes on in that interview and says that we need to attack Iran and destroy their infrastructure.
So who declared it a religious war?
Well, Hamas did, because
I mean, Hamas can declare what they want, but are both sides declaring it a religious war?
It is
Israel
No, I mean,
declaring it?
Well, no, Hamas is declaring it a religious war because that's the basis of every single one of their reasonings for what they do.
Mhm.
It's Allahu Akbar, all straight on. So
Mm.
regardless of who said what, Hamas is the one because they're a theocratic terrorist organization. It's always going to be a religious reason. I mean, that's the reason why America must burn because we're all a bunch of infidels.
Oh, look,
And-
it's
True.
Hamas's leader.
Yep.
Oh,
Here's-
yeah, that guy, the global jihad. Yeah.
Marlon, you want to read it? You want me to read it?
No, read it, sir. Read it. I can't barely
Okay.
read anyway. I'm old. Remember?
So, Khalid Mashal, the leader and founding member of Hamas, gave a speech today asking Muslims around the world to do the following: to show anger, especially next Friday, in Muslim countries and also Muslim diaspora around the world. And he called it a Friday of Al-Qasad flood. He said that send a message to rage to the Zionists in America. He asked for financial help from all Muslims around the world to help with money, and they called it the financial jihad, and asked Muslims to give to the fighters of Gaza in order to compensate them for the destruction. He asked for political pressure from Muslim leaders and Muslim nations to stop Israel's military invasion of Gaza. Well, yeah, I would imagine he would want that not to happen, but he's not even there. He's in Qatar, by the way. He's not
That's-
even in Gaza.
same
And he's
thing.
like super rich.
Oh, he's living a good life in Qatar.
Yeah, he's living that good life, man. Getting all the
Yeah.
money from Iran, but
Cater.
then never actually doing anything. Yeah.
Yeah, I love
The most
Qatar.
important thing, he asked all Muslims around the world to carry jihad
Mhm.
by their souls. Right? This sounds familiar, right? Stuff we've already seen before. To fight and to be martyrs for the Al-Qasad. And then he wants the Muslims to fight against the Jews, starting with the Muslims who live in the countries surrounding Israel, Jordan, Syria, Lebanon, and Egypt, but also other countries to go to the borders and try to enter each of their own means. You know, this is the insurgency tactics that we saw in Afghanistan and Iraq. Michael remembers. Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Patrick Farm
Yeah.
remembers.
He said that this time for the jihad to be applied on the ground rather than just in theory, and he asked the Mujahideen. Anybody remember that?
Yeah,
Those
they're still
people
around.
Turkey, right?
Okay.
Turkey, right?
No. Mujahideen were the Taliban
Iran.
fighters in
Yeah.
Afghanistan.
Ah,
Rambo.
Freedom
Remember
fighters,
Rambo?
right?
Remember
Yeah.
Rambo?
Rambo, the Mujahideen? Yeah.
Rambo
Mhm.
3.
To go in
Ah.
long caravans to dispel their blood, or spill their blood, I guess that's what he meant, on the land of Palestine.
Oh yeah.
And these are his final words. Funds are important, but today we are asking for your blood and souls to be sacrificed for Palestine.
Yeah.
now here's
makes
the,
sense.
here's the thing, right? I mean, again, if nobody is familiar with how Islam's work, part of Islam's tenet is literally, quite literally, jihad, which is it's translated struggle, but they've completely taken that to be the struggle to end all infidels,
It's war.
all of
Yeah.
us. It's war.
It's war.
And you remember Monday? What's today? Wednesday. Yeah. So Monday's show, we talked about how we're going to see things happening in the homeland. There's going to be some type of false flag, some type of attack. Now, it's ironic that he called the day, for the 13th of this month, which is Friday.
Yeah,
the 13th,
Friday.
for one. Two, there is an eclipse. There is an eclipse.
There's a dog too.
Yeah, there's an eclipse happening on the 14th. It's the Ring of Fire. So, you start using numerology and all this other stuff, and the Ring of Fire, and these dates are adding up. There's a reason why he's doing it October 13th.
Yeah.
There is a
It
reason. It's just
It is nuts.
October
to see
13th or
the amount of
17th?
people that are pushing the U.S. into war. Like the only person I've seen recently that is like, no, we shouldn't do that, is Vivek. Out of all the presidential nominees, maybe I haven't seen Trump say anything really on it, or at least he's not in the media on it. But like even Pence is pushing it, and then he's also saying that it's Trump's fault and like Biden's fault. It's like everybody's fault for what happened.
And don't forget it's Republicans too.
Yeah.
Republicans.
It's like he just went out after everybody.
So here's Nikki.
Okay.
They all have to chime in. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Step back because I want the American people to kind of take this in for a second.
she's a warmonger.
Just imagine
Mhm.
that here the Israelis woke up
Mm-hmm.
and communities were bombarded,
Mm-hmm.
families were murdered, women and children were taken hostage, dragged through the streets,
Mhm.
the elderly were taken.
Okay.
All of this has happened in front of everyone, on top of thousands of rockets that hit Israel.
Mhm.
This should be personal for every woman and man in America.
Why? Yeah.
Because when they did this,
Mhm.
when they did this surprise attack, when they took these hostages, when they murdered these families, they were celebrating. And what were they celebrating? They were saying
Oh,
death
why?
to Israel, death to America.
And
This is not just an attack on Israel. This is an attack on America.
No, it's
because
not.
they hate us just as much.
So,
America can never
granted.
be so arrogant to think we don't need friends, just like we needed them on 9/11. That's why Ukraine needs us when Russia's doing this. That's why Israel needs
No
us when
kidding.
Hamas and Iran are doing this. And I'll say this to,
Here we go.
Prime Minister Netanyahu, finish them. Finish them. Hamas did this. Iran's behind it. Finish them. They should have hell to pay for what they've just done.
Now, now,
Okay, yeah, no, finish them, but leave us out of it.
yeah. I mean, she's a warmonger. You see how she tried to use some, Jedi mind trick to get to to pull the heart on the heartstrings of the American people.
Yeah, totally.
Talking about, they hate us. So
Think of the women
I
and the
don't
children.
care.
Here's
Who
my
cares
question.
if they hate us? Now, killing women and children, no one wants to see that stuff. But don't try to say this is our fight too because they hate us also. Don't try to do that. Don't try to drag us in by, giving emotional responses like we talked about before. They give this emotional response to pull on the heartstrings of the American people.
It's interesting.
Don't
It's
worry.
interesting. It's interesting that that she is utilizing the dead babies and the brutalized women's bodies as meat shields to cover.
Yep.
But still pro-abortion. Make that make sense.
Yeah.
Here's the
She
thing
is?
that I want to ask people how many countries when 9/11 happened were sending us aid packages?
50 billion of them.
50 billion.
Yeah, 9/11, Hurricane Katrina. What else?
Yeah.
The Maui fires. Let's talk about everything bad that's happening in America.
When the U.S. is in trouble, there's nobody to call because the U.S. is the one to go and just
That's right.
everybody's aid, man.
Hey.
Like it doesn't work like that. And here's the thing: is like you guys are trying to push us into another war in the Middle East, and every time we've gotten involved in the Middle East, there is not a damn thing that has come out of that has been good for us.
Never
not
gonna
a
stop
single
it.
thing. How many more dead bodies of American women and men do you need to stop intervening in things you shouldn't intervene in?
More.
How many?
All of them.
Like, that's what I want to ask these politicians. Like, are you going to go in the front lines and do it? Are you going to sign up and put your life on the line? No, you're going to send somebody else's daughters and fathers and mothers and brothers to die for your stupid, senseless wars.
You know
And
that old
makes
saying: the
sense.
rich start the wars, the poor fight them.
And
Yeah.
end them.
Yeah.
Pretty soon you'll see Nikki stand up there. She's going to turn this on. You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. That's
Well,
what she's going to
Pence
start
is
singing.
just as bad. Have you seen his?
Yeah, and then she's going to be like this. She's like, listen, people, you should care because we care. Why do we care?
Mhm.
Money. So
Yeah.
send money so we don't have to care so much.
And
Now,
I hate
look.
it. I hate it when these politicians get up there and they use that term, the American people. What
It's
American
not us.
people?
We don't
Who
want
are
nothing
you
to do with that.
talking about? Who did you interview? With the American people? Don't put us on. We're not a collective, when it comes to certain issues in this country. That is you. That is the America that you represent, the corporation America. The people in the Republic don't want nothing to do with this stuff. We're tired of fighting wars. These wars cost us money through taxes. We are tired. We're sitting here every day. I went to the gas station today, $4.49 a gallon. You go to the grocery store, you can get a little basket, and that's $100-something right there. And you want us to worry about another country and put up more of our money to help them? No, our country needs help. America first, America always. If you don't like it, kick rocks.
I'm tired of paying blood and silver for somebody else's pockets.
Well, I don't even care about the money. I don't care about the money. Here's what. Because even if we didn't fund it, but you intervene, they didn't ask you to. And here's what has always happened in the Middle East. War, America intervenes. The side that's the most violent comes after America. And it's not the government that pays, it's the people. Yeah. If they don't come after the people on this soil, they come after the people overseas that are Americans. The government itself doesn't ever pay for it. You haven't seen yet, not once, and I mean this, even if you count 9/11 independent, that didn't happen. But if you were to just name me one time any terrorist went straight to the White House, you can't name one. Not a single. They go after the innocents, but not the people that actually caused their hardship. Because here's a real thing: Hamas, Al Qaeda, ISIS, Iran, all of them, they get money from us to do what they're doing. They're getting paid. They're paid actors. Ukraine, they're paid actors. The people who refuse American money are the ones that we should be more concerned about. Like, we're not paying China for services. We're paying China to own us. That's just the truth. It's not even that they have something that we can't do. We're not going to them for necessity. We're going to them out of straight up, I'm going to pay you. You make me good. And once that's done, China's just going to use the United States. It doesn't look, there's nothing we can do against China. We know that, right? China's ahead of us, and we're not coming back from behind to pass them. So all we have left to do is start as many wars as we can to line as many pockets as we can in government, so that when it all falls down, they're taken care of. That's why you don't see them caring whether or not we start a war, because they're not fighting it. What is it? System up to down? That's it. Bring your own body.
Yeah.
All right. If you haven't heard that song, go listen to it. It makes a lot of sense. Why don't presidents fight the war? Why do they always send the poor?
Yeah.
It's facts. That's what they've always done.
But and if you go back, and that was a good point Marlon brought up about how all these terrorist groups, ISIS, Hezbollah, all the Hamas, all of them are paid actors. If you go all the way back to the Afghanistan war, when Russia invaded Afghanistan, right? Remember Charlie Wilson's war?
Yeah.
Who funded and gave the Mujahideen weapons? America. Then guess who we were fighting 20 years later, 30 years later? The same people we trained and gave weapons to. And we do it now in the military. There's something in Fort Benning, for anybody out there that's an infantryman that went to Fort Benning like I did. There's something called School of the Americas. School of the Americas is when they bring in a lot of foreign countries to learn American military style stuff. So these same people that we're training, and they're generals and colonels, and they're supposed to be these prestige people, are the same people going back and teaching their people what we taught them. So they're teaching them exactly how we fight. Your fighting style should be secret. Enemies shouldn't really know. But this is what's happening. So, like we always saying, we're going to keep saying it. Everything is a rich man's trick. Truth, what is it? Truth is stranger than fiction. You know, all of this stuff is just a game. They're up there playing chess. They're drinking their freaking wine, and they're watching us. And they're watching us go to the slaughterhouse in these wars, and they can care less, like Marlon said, because it
makes them money.
Yep,
it makes them money. Like I literally would like to track Lindsey Graham's financial donors.
That's easy enough.
Like
oh yeah,
Lockheed Martin,
Halliburton.
Yeah, I'm sure they've all got hands in it. I mean, even Dan Crenshaw, who we thought was going to be kind of a champion of the veterans and the right, ended up just being another freaking eye patch McCain, as some people call him. Eye patch McCain, right? So this guy is the same thing. He's like, this is going to be the war that ends all wars, and it's like another big war, and it's like, why are we pushing for a big war? Does anybody really want that? Because like the people that are in power are not going to be threatened by it. They're just like, there's another tweet that said that people are just trying to make enough money so that the problems don't bother them. That's what these people are doing, is they're just trying to make enough money so that it doesn't matter what happens. They have enough money that they don't care. That's it.
Go ahead and play that. What's that?
Oh, this is Mr. Pants.
Where we ought to start. I mean, that disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan has emboldened the enemies of freedom around the world. And now war is raging in Eastern Europe. And President Joe Biden's kowtowing for the last 2.5 years to the mullahs in Iran, lifting sanctions, begging them to get back in the Iran nuclear deal, and then paying $6 billion in a ransom for hostages, I think set the conditions for this unprecedented terrorist attack by Hamas against Israel. But I also believe this is what happens when we have leading voices like Donald Trump, Vivek Ramaswamy, and Ron DeSantis signaling retreat from America's role as leader of the free world. What happened in Ukraine was an unprovoked invasion by Russia. What happened this weekend was an unprovoked invasion by Hamas into Israel. And I really believe now more than ever, both the debate within the Republican Party and the debate within America is whether or not we're going to once again stand without apology as the leader of the free world, as the arsenal of democracy. The heartbreaking images coming out of both of these theaters of operations remind us that America is the indispensable leader of the free world. And if I'm president of the United States, we'll lead from American strength.
And we will die.
Yeah. See, here's the thing. Like, listening to him talk, he was in the middle. He was the right-hand man of the guy who had a presidency that started no new wars. What in the world is he now talking about?
Yeah,
that pisses me off.
And you see all the words he was using. Like, people really have to listen to politicians like this, polished politicians, right? What did he keep saying? We are the what?
Leaders of the free world.
Leaders of the free world. He said it multiple times. This is how they pull on the heartstrings of the American people. We are not the leader of the free world. Actually, there are countries out there that have more freedom than what we do.
Yeah.
Here's more free.
Thing. You remember that word that Marlon always brings up? You remember, he said it like 3 times.
The N-word?
No.
He means
unprovoked attack.
That's right.
That word, unprovoked. Remember that word? Anytime they do something that is, it might have been provoked. It probably was provoked. They say it's unprovoked. Everything is unprovoked. Always unprovoked.
And you want to know what I find?
Unprovoked. This attack in Gaza, or like from Gaza, it was unprovoked. It's like, well, no, there are reasons for it. You just might like those reasons, but there are reasons.
We have less to go to war.
I find it interesting too. Nikki Haley was pulling on the emotional heartstrings, and Mike Pence was pulling on the egotistical heartstrings. Yeah. It's weird how these two warmongers are literally pulling on heartstrings from different fronts. Like Nikki Haley, like women and children. Mike Pence is like leader of the free world. Oh. It's like, what?
There's this old saying that a lot of these elitists and these Kabbalists, draconians, I'm gonna keep talking about these evil, satanic cabal people, is that They understand that in order for something to be accomplished, they have to have the backing from the people. People may not think that's true, but you do need the backing of the people, whether it's physically or mentally. So if they can get a lot of Americans in this fight mentally, they're winning, because they have to win us over. More Americans need to stop listening to these idiots and do not back anything they say. Well, especially when it comes to war, the less backing, the less they'll want to, move forward with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So people got to stop buying into this bull crap.
Here's the uncomfortable truth that nobody wants to address. And I think that's what Donald Trump and Vivek Ramaswamy have called into, is that we are empire on decline. We cannot do what we've been doing. We are overstretched. This is exactly what happened to the Roman Empire at its peak and then started to decline. Is we are overextended. We are over leveraged. We don't have the money. There is no money to give anymore. We are broke. We are fighting multiple fronts. And if China decides it's going to go for Taiwan, now we have 3 fronts, which is what I've already said. Like, this world war is happening regardless of what we do. And we need to put ourselves in a better position where we're not over leveraged. It is not our fight to be fighting on a continent elsewhere. Let them figure it out themselves.
Exactly.
And then defend ourselves. That's
So
it. That's what we need to be doing.
Just so people know, since 1948, this has been going on.
Yeah.
Okay, 1948. For those who want to know whether this will stop, it's not going to stop. No. You can have as many peacetime treaties as you want, or ceasefire. That means nothing. All it means, I'll wait till you're not dealing with us anymore and you're distracted, and we'll just start this back up again.
Yeah.
I keep saying that this might be a political thing, but it is very much, and I have to agree, it is a religious war, which means we don't have a dog in the fight. And look, if we're saying we're on the side of Israel, we would not be promoting abortion in this country. So we're not for Israel, nor are we for that side of the religious war. We also don't want to just go in and blatantly, because we do it covertly, wipe out another nation. So we're obviously not going to side with Hamas. So there is nothing that the U.S. should have to say about any of it. So no, there will not be any ceasefire that occurs. What's going to end up happening, one of 2 things. Israel will get subdued in a little bit by other nations, and they will have to draw a pact with the rest of the nations, which is predicted, or the Hamas will get wiped off the face of the planet, and so will most of Palestine. But you'll still have the conflict with many other surrounding nations in Israel. Let's just be honest. Israel is the outcast from all the Middle East countries.
Yeah.
None of them like them. And that's by design, because it was all ancient history between those people. There will be none that accepts Israel. So let's get this straight. Whether or not we try to get peace in the Middle East, that's a what you call a call to have war involving America without any results. There is no peace treaty that will happen. There is no ceasefire that will make any difference. And you cannot see peace in the Middle East, like for any reason, because the conflict itself started over something that didn't involve political agendas. It involved all holy sites. It involved whose land was given by whose God. It had nothing to do with policy, had nothing to do with politics. So that politics can't fix this, like at all.
To work itself out. Like
it has to.
It's one of those things, like, if we're going Hamas, Israel, like, Israel wins, period. Like, we don't need to step in, period. If the entire Middle East goes against Israel, that's a different conversation, right?
Still don't step in.
Well, still, like, it's one of those things, like, I'm not an absolutist on non-interventionism. I'm just saying there are lines, but it needs to be beneficial to us. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, and there's nothing that's beneficial to us.
There's nothing. We get nothing. But here's the thing, even if this conflict ended, say they called it ceasefire, peace in the Middle East. We've been saying that since we were kids. Peace in the Middle East, The way these people's minds work, and Coy can vouch for this, if you've been over there, everything is tribal and everything is generational. So you can get some kid that's 20 now whose dad was killed 30 years ago, 20 years ago by this family over here. They're still going to hold a grudge. So it doesn't matter how many years pass. It could be peace. The only thing that's going to be in their brain is that Israeli killed my dad 30 years ago, and we need to go and get revenge. So
especially for the Pashtuns, that's
exactly. And this goes a lot deeper than just a ceasefire, words on a piece of paper. There's something bigger that really has to happen. And it's not a bunch of politicians in suits talking about peace.
This is the uncomfortable thing. This is war. I mean, I don't know what else people expect. It doesn't matter what the reasons for the war are. It is war. And Hamas fired the first shot. I'm sorry, they fired the first shot. I don't care what your reasons for. You can go back thousands of years. You can go back to 1948. It doesn't matter. You fired the first shot and you targeted civilians on purpose. That's your fault. You could have done it any other way. You could have pushed in. You could have taken land, not killed civilians, pushed them out, and only targeted military bases, and that would have been it. And nobody would condemn you for that because you're like, we're just trying to take our land back. That's it. But instead, you went after civilians purposely.
It's easy.
So it's easy. Targets of opportunity,
which
right?
is cowardice for the most part.
And they specifically took them hostage in order to have a better leverage against Israel.
Look, we do the same thing except without guns.
Yeah.
The United States did the exact same from 2020, 21, and 22 without guns. They didn't point a single one at us, but they did cause many deaths. We're talking about over 200,000.
Yep.
They caused this, mind you. Understand that they caused that, and no one's speaking about that genocide.
Right.
The same way they don't talk about Planned Parenthood genocide. The United States is a very covert genocidal regime. Okay, and they've been doing that since conception. Well, I can't say since conception. About 50 years past conception, when we decided to try and be international in our stupidity. You had asked about Lindsay earlier, right? Right, Lee? Okay. One very particular person that does some fundraising or gave him to his campaign was a company called Roper St. Francis Healthcare. Are you familiar with them people? Okay. Roper St. Francis Healthcare deals a lot with a very specific thing. Anyone can name what it might be?
Are they
the jab?
Or
the hijabs, right? They got the hijabs, right? They paid, let me make sure I get this number here. They paid $14,500 to his campaign. The next one that was above that is the U.S. Immigration Fund, $17,400. Now, the reason I bring that up is if you can create let's put it this way, a situation where you need to have a certain kind of intervention from a certain type of people, namely aftercare for war. You have the person in your back pocket.
Of course you do.
I'm just one dot. That's only one dot. Okay. He has many others, law firms, healthcare professionals, real estates. He has a bunch of people that donate to him. In this particular event, him calling for the destruction of another nation, or at least another group of people with different ideologies, on one fell swoop of killing everyone. Hear me out on this one. He's taken the same exact stance that his buddy that passed away, McCain, had. He's taken the same way that John Kerry, Bolton, Clinton, Barack, all of them have the same exact line, and all of them just happen to have money in recovery efforts.
Yeah.
That's a recovery effort, by the way. Anything medical is a recovery effort. So if you can create yourself a niche where you're going to need the people and create a space for the people that give you money, it's called being bought off. Okay. You have now a situation in Israel that, one, if the United States would only stay out of it, the two sides that no one likes, either Hamas or Israel, they have the chance of wiping each other out. And if you really felt the way you say you felt, you'd leave them to fight their conflict on their own.
Right.
But the case is what you really want, and I talked about this not on this channel, but you recently heard too, and this is I'm trying to bring this all together, but I have to branch out one more time out here. You heard about the Iran controversy about possibly having President Trump as a target. Okay. Let's say, for instance, now that that Lindsey Graham did not talk about Iran. He talked all about Hamas. Iran has a certain amount of people they want wiped out. This is how I think it's going to go. Hear me out. They gave Iran money, and I don't think that was for healthcare. I think that was to make sure President Trump died. Just hear me out. I think they paid Iran for that purpose. Iran turned around and the deal was to create a conflict to take eyes off of Ukraine. So they created a conflict because Hamas struck first. Out of nowhere, they just struck first. No sooner than they got money, they struck. Iran got money, Hamas struck. So Hamas strikes, Iran lets it go that they were behind it, but by design. Everyone fixes their attention on Israel. Once Israel's all occupied with everybody's eyes, the United States finds a way to decide to go into Iran to so-called stop this thing that's happening. They kill two birds with one stone. They put Iran on the market as the bad guy twice now because they funded Hamas and they have a plot to kill a U.S. citizen. Now, mind you, they don't care whether or not President Trump dies. They're fine with that. They have no dog in that fight. But they have to create another bad guy. In order for World War III to kick off, they have to have more than two countries involved. Right now, it's just Ukraine and Russia. If, however, you can bring in the other big dog, which is Iran, and say, oh, now they have nukes involved in this, and they were trying to take out president, who do you think they're going to get on their side if they say they're going after Iran to take out somebody who had intention of taking out President Trump? Who in America are they going to get to side with them?
The new axis is going to be Iran.
Right. The people on the right are going to be like, oh, wow, the U.S. government's finally doing something right. They're going after our enemy who is going after our president. Look, all of this is ridiculously well-timed. It is all planned. It's all rehearsed. This has nothing to do with, obviously they're going to use the grounds that it's a religious war because it is. But don't get it twisted that Hamas is also wanting funds. They want funds. They want tanks. They want guns. Iran supplied that because U.S. supplied that. It's a full circle. And when it's all said and done, U.S. is going to move in. Everyone else is now subdued. And they can get what they put in to begin with. Actually, it's a great strategy.
I think it's better if they are able to succeed in the Trump thing, because you think about it, like, what better way and what better reason to have an excuse to take care of Iran?
Right.
What better?
It's an easy one. It's an easy one.
Especially if he so hear me out. Especially if he gets elected,
then they do it.
And after the inauguration, the best excuse in the world to take out an entire power, you get rid of one of your problems, and then you take care of the one you've been wanting to get rid of for a long time at the exact same time. Two birds, one stone. Perfect.
I think it's a grandiose plan.
It's plausible, though. It's very plausible.
Said this about the Democrats. The Democrats have one thing. If the Democrats could do one thing, they know how to plan. I will. Okay, you want to know how I know that? They were losing, and then they interjected the KKK. They started winning again. Okay, they started losing. They brought in the civil rights movement. They start losing. They bring in welfare. They start losing. They bring in LGBTQ. They start losing. Start more wars. I have to give it to them. Them fellas know how to play the game. Republicans, you start losing.
Did you see that statement Black Lives Matter put out?
Yes.
Yeah.
About Palestine.
Yeah.
And and when they start losing, and they bring in stuff like that, and people have to understand there are a lot of sympathizers. Like I said, whatever side you pick, this is me. Whatever side you pick your side. Who you support, you support. Me, I don't support. I don't care. But where a lot of these radical groups stand. BLM Brain comes out with a statement saying that the Palestine fight is Black people's fight, and we need to stand with Hamas and all this other stuff. And so you got to understand that you're going to have a lot of. It's not going to be people that look like people from Palestine that's going to do stuff to you. It's going to be people that look like Coy, myself, Jay, that are sympathizers for their movement that are going to be doing stuff in America to cause chaos.
I don't understand how that's the same. Like, honestly, I don't get how that's the same. And then people are saying like, oh, it's apartheid state, just like South Africa. And it's like, yeah, you know what happened to the white minority after they took charge? They started massacring them. So like,
still happening.
Give Gaza their freedom. See what happens. Like, if you keep saying it's an open air prison, then when they break out and start murdering people, you're going like, now that's why they were in prison.
Exactly. Here's the potato in chief.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
I never really thought that I would see and have confirmed pictures of terrorists beheading children. I never thought I'd ever. Anyway,
What?
But there are countries in the region that are trying to be of some help, including Arab nations, trying to be of some help.
Cap.
So.
Cap.
Oh Oh my goodness.
Anyway,
Not a single one.
Oh my God.
Anyway again. Anyway
I
again.
never really thought that I would.
Speech.
I mean, I'm glad we're talking about the dead babies, but like just forgetting what you were talking about halfway through the sentence does not make it impactful, my sir.
Yeah,
It's
nah.
and then I never thought I'd see pictures of beheaded babies.
Hey, well, obviously he's never been in one of those countries because
Well,
that
he's
happens.
lying, too.
That happens a lot, and he's lying. But he is a potato, so we had to look at this.
Oh yeah, I saw that one too.
I'm okay.
That makes
Somebody
no
wanted
sense.
This it does because it's double oxymoron, which cancel out each other.
Yeah, because Palestine hates them both.
Yeah, but
No.
not only that, queer
Double
Jew,
thing. It's the
Yeah.
queer Jews. It's not just like the
Oh, it's not
queers
just
for Palestine. It's the
Mm.
queer Jews.
queer Jews.
For Palestine. It's like let me tell you something. Both of those things make you doubly hated by Hamas,
Yes.
for instance. And I know like the arguments like Hamas is not all of Palestine. No, it's not, but a good portion of them are.
Mm-hmm.
So
And the problem with this is, people like this and people that hold signs like this, all these sympathizers per se, they want a seat at the table. So at the end of the day, people pick their team and they pick their side, right? So people like this, Queer for Jews, right? They hope Palestine Hamas wins. That way they can say, "Oh, look at me, I supported you," and they're gonna be like, "Come here, boom, off the roof you go."
Look in the back.
Here's if you're flying us in Allah
It says trans
Yeah.
Jews in the back there. It
In
says
the
trans
local-
Jews.
It's not gonna work out for you. It's
Trans.
it won't work.
Oh my gosh.
Look, it's right back there. Look,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
trans
see
Jews.
it. I
look,
see it.
trans Jews.
Oh, trans Jews. Oh,
Like
okay.
93% of Palestine will look at them and be like, "No head for you. Bye bye."
No, that's the entire. Okay, so this is what people don't understand. The people that are extremists that are going on a global jihad that they're calling for are targeting people specifically like you. Specifically, those are the targets they like because one, they're defenseless, and two, they're harmless.
I mean, yeah.
Anyway, I had a point to make. Anyway, I don't know.
Anyway.
Anyway.
But these are the smooth brain window licking, window lickers we deal with in
Short
our
bus
country,
driving.
in the world. Short bus drivers. These are the people that their brain is so warped on social issues that they can't critically think outside of that.
Yeah.
So they're like, "Oh, look, we're queer. Why does it matter if you're queer and you're a Jew and you support Palestine? Why does that play a factor in your support for a movement?"
Intersectionalism.
Yeah,
Yes.
it doesn't play a factor, but it's not going to work out for you the way you think it's going to work out for you. It won't. And then they're going to find out the hard way. They're going to be like, "Oh, they're over there killing us." Well,
That's why like this whole thing with like a trans and gay rights thing is like, dude, you are not oppressed in the United States. You should shut the hell up.
no,
Like
you're
if you
not.
want to go anywhere else in the world, you could say, okay, I'm oppressed, right? You want to go to Africa and be gay, then you can say you're oppressed. You want to go to the Middle East and be gay or trans or any of those things, then you can say you're oppressed. But until then, shut the hell up.
I was reading this article about this guy. I think he was in Turkey or somewhere, or the UAE. They arrested him for looking gay. Isn't that crazy?
I mean,
He looked gay, and they arrested him. He was like, "What?" He's like, "You look gay." Get to the Hooscow you go. You look too gay.
you must be homosexual.
Metro. We used to call them metrosexuals
Be
back,
realistic
my
about what
day.
the world actually is. Right?
Yeah.
It's cloistered living from living out of a place of comfort in the United States. We've civilized the West so much so that you could be a flamboyant homosexual and think that somehow you're oppressed, but then literally watch social media footage of Palestinians throwing homosexuals off rooftops and be like, "Oh my goodness, that's like so horrible. Let me drink my soy lattes." It's
I
like,
still support him, Daddy. Like he just threw somebody off a rooftop. He still has my support.
Like I said, it's like I'm not trying to like my personal opinions. People be who they are. I don't care. But at the same time, don't say that you live in the freest, like one of the freest places on earth, and say you're oppressed because you're not. Like Michael and I can attest to this personally. We know what real gross evil is, right? We've seen it with our own eyes. We know what the worst base human instincts can be like. This is not one of them. Your complaints mean nothing to me.
yeah,
Mhm.
makes sense.
Okay, so let's read some history here. So in May of 1948 is when things started kicking off, right?
Yep.
By 1949, there was another war.
Yep.
And then by 1951, yet another war.
Right.
1953, another war. 71 Israelis and 44 were killed by Palestinians. They instigated it, that one. 1954, another insurgents of the exact same people, 57, 33, in 55, 56, 57, 58, 63, 64, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 77, 78, 70. I'm listing, these are all times that the conflict has escalated to war between them. I hope people understand this, okay? 81, 82, 83, 85, 86, 87, 88, 9, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 7, 8. Every year they have been fighting. Listen to why this is so inconsequential. 2000, 2001, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So far every year, right? Consecutive. Do you know how long consecutive is? Okay, 15, 17, okay, to present. Every year since 1948, they have had war between Israel and Hamas, or at least the Palestinian faction that is anti-Israel. This war is no bloody different than 5 years ago. It is only getting attention because people want it to get attention to distract from the crap that has been going on in Ukraine. This has nothing to do whether people care about Israel or Hamas. They don't give two craps about either one of those people. We started to get to the bottom of Ukraine. We were starting to see the funds and the people who were wanting it. We were starting to get, so as soon as we start to pick out the rhinos that approved the bill, all of a sudden war, and rhinos pop up to the front saying we need war. Only a few Democrats are talking about it, but the majority ones on screen saying wipe them out, kill them all, are all Republicans. This is not an abnormal situation. This is normal over there. They're hyping it up because they have something to hide. They have a lot to hide. And as soon as people start to get to the bottom of it, Trump's case start to get a less appealing, bring a war. Hunter is not going the way they want, make a war. They're starting to lose power over black people, bring a war. They're starting to lose power over the woke people, bring a war. It happens every time. When Barack won, weren't we in conflict?
Yeah.
Were we?
Continuation of Desert
Yeah.
Storm.
All I'm saying is this:
Obama got elected.
we look at this as though it's religious. Yeah, okay, sure, it's religious. I get it. Which is why it's been going on for a lot longer than 1948.
Yeah.
This has been going on for forever, and we are only now paying attention to it because the people at power want us to concentrate on it and fly a different flag in our profile. That's it. Now, watch what happens when all this blows over, because it's going to blow over in the next 6 months, not by a true ceasefire, but it's going to do like it does every year, a 6 month or 5 month fighting, and then it goes again. Watch and see if you don't hear that we sent another 50 to 60 billion to Ukraine.
That's right.
Watch.
And, and there's a lot of things that are playing, into this war too. So, as everybody probably knows or doesn't know, that our oil reserve will be up in 16 days. That means all that oil that we had in reserve, we're already using it all up. So in 16 days, there is no more. So when we run out of fuel, when gas prices are skyrocketing because it's very limited, what do you think they're going to blame that on? Oh, it's because the war with Iran, and we didn't have nothing to do with it. It's because the war. This is all playing into something a lot bigger than this war. Do you really think, like Marlene said, do you really think our government and the powers that be care about what's going on over there? Because if they cared, like he said, every year this is happening. Every year, same thing. Fly your Israel flag. Hey, stand with Palestine. Every year. Nothing has been done since the 40s.
But they want us to step in.
But they want now we need to step in. Now we have to, because they bombed. They bombed last time too. They bombed last year. They bombed the year before that. They keep doing the same thing over and over again. So the question the American people have to ask yourself is, why now are we so focused on Israel?
Mm-hmm.
Goes a lot deeper than what we're being told.
There's another thing that nobody really wants to think about, is that these people that are pushing us into World War III. The United States is not ready to mobilize that many people. Nope. There's not enough healthy people. There's not enough volunteers. Nope. The draft would come back. And it's not just going to be men that are going to get drafted. It's the women too. It's going to be a global war that's going to need everything. We don't have the manufacturing capabilities. We don't have the strategic oil reserve, because in our brilliance of a potato president has been siphoning that off in order to offset the gas prices that he started to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
So we are not anywhere near what we were in World War II or World War I in a way that we are strategically strong, period. We do not have the resources. We do not have the manpower. We do not have the ability to do so.
Yeah. I'm sorry. At the end of the day, all this leads up to one thing. And what's been their number one plan, right? Global government, Green New Deal. Right. All of this leads up to something like that. That's why I said it's a lot bigger than people dying in a foreign country. This is a lot deeper than what we're thinking. So our oil reserves run out. They blame it on the war over there. What have they been trying to push in this country by the year 2030?
Green.
Everyone has an electric car. We all need electric cars. We run out of fuel. They blame it on another country. They blame it on a conflict. We're out of fuel. What do they say? Guess we're going electric. Now some people have to go out and buy an electric car. Yeah. So understand this is more than what they're showing us on the surface. This goes way deeper than what we're being told.
Period.
Yeah. Here's a war slogan for you. It's like support the war, buy electric.
Yeah, buy electric.
Wow.
We're out of fuel, and all the fuel's going to the war. So we need everybody to do their due diligence, their patriotic duty, and go electric. You notice how Teslas have dropped the price of their electric cars?
Yeah.
You guys think
but Tesla also has a low ESG score.
But Tesla also dropped the prices. Why did they drop the prices? Because what was the number one complaint for people?
It's too spendy.
Cars are too expensive. I can't just go out and buy another $25,000-$30,000 car. So, okay, we're going to run out of fuel and just lower the prices. We'll get the people in cars. We'll get them in cars. Let's sell these electric scooters. Let's have all these electric bikes. Let's do all this.
GE and GM. Yeah.
Y'all better think. We're here to make you think. That's it. Think.
Like I said, it's not going to be Elon that gets the government contracts. It's going to be like GM, GE. It's going to be Ford. It's going to be Chevy.
And it's going to be Cheney.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And didn't what's his name just recently complain, Zelensky, about how the focus is taken off Ukraine and now they're focused. Yeah, he's complaining. He's complaining.
Girlfriend looking at another person. He's like, hey, stop that.
He's like that side chick. He's what he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally.
He is a side chick. How come you don't have no more time for me?
He's simping for America. That's a simp right there. America doesn't pay attention to me.
That's just crazy. What we're gonna have to respond to as well this coming Friday.
Look at that comment.
The which one?
Before you talk, Sharif. LSI, Elias, whatever the name is. See it?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. No, cool. That's cool. Which ones? I need names so I can pray for them individually, if you don't mind. I don't pray for blanketed people because some of them may not want my prayers. So if you can tell me, you may have a name or two that I can use to say, because I mean,
you're coming to the wrong podcast talking that.
I'll pray for them, no problem. If you tell me a name and what to pray for, in order for God to bless them. So if you don't mind, Sharif. Yeah. In any case, so Friday, I want to have a kind of a robust discussion over the Chicago situation. The immigration issue and the mayor and all that. I want to pick the brains of the masses as to the logic behind that thing. I mean, I know there is none, but
this too, because they're talking about like there's going to be terrorist attacks coming from the southern border because they've been letting everybody in. So
I just want to know.
So Marlon, before we go, can you bring up that meme? Because this is what it reminds me of with Zelensky. Zelensky's the chick, right? And then Israel's the girl walking away.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for an answer from this sympathizer right here.
Yeah, I think it was a dip and dodge.
Yeah, he's not going to jump in and talk stuff.
Speak and dodge. Well, let me see if I can find him. Hang on real quick.
Yeah.
What's
Israel
his name?
going to be wiped out.
SAGRE.
Yeah, there it is. Aw, look at him.
But you're still not. How can God bless you with that kind of speech?
But you can't wipe me out though. How about that?
How
that kind of language is haram, bro.
Hold on. How can God bless the Palestinians if that's how you speak? Are you sure you're talking about the right God? I'm just curious.
Yeah, it ain't the
that
same
kind of
God.
language is haram.
If it is now,
simply
just
put,
curious.
it's like I feel sorry for the innocent civilians of Palestine. They're going to get killed because of people like him. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, if it was up to me, you know, I don't really pick sides in this conflict because it's not my fight. But you know, people like that, I would dip my. Never mind. I was going to say
this is YouTube.
Jack Black.
This isn't Rumble.
Yeah, Mr. Pershing style. I can't say it though. Y'all lucky.
Let me see if I can find him here. I think he named himself after a notable figure. I know it's not him though. So
anyway,
and he doesn't have a channel. So let's just put it like that.
Yeah, he's just a dude.
Just a bot.
He ain't gonna do nothing.
It's
a coward.
Yeah, or you can try, but it's not. This is not the Middle East.
Yeah. We handle stuff different over
and
here.
as far as the Palestinian people go, I have nothing against the people of Palestine.
Nope.
No,
at all.
The government.
I have something against the regime of Palestine, and I have something against Hamas. I have something against the people who are doing wars, even the crazed people in Israel. I have something against them too. But if you're asking me to, pray for or bless the Palestinian people, no problem. Palestinian soldiers, there might be some that may not be fighting for the right reason, and some of them that are. But like I said, I have no problem if you just give me a couple of names. I'll throw up a prayer for them to be safe, especially if they haven't done anything wrong. So
I've been if he's talking crazy though, I've been in a couple jihads and it didn't work out too well for the other side. So you can keep talking your mess.
I just want to know.
I'm still here.
Where is he at? Did he leave? Did he leave?
Yeah, he's probably gone already.
Okay. In any case, folks, we'll talk about that stuff on Friday. That's happening in Chicago. Because I think it matches with what's going on here because it's all intertwined. All of it is. But you'll see the fruition of that soon enough. Don't worry about that. Rumble next Saturday, not this one. We just had one. So next Saturday, we'll be doing a Rumble.
Yep.
And we might touch on this again and be a little more open with what we really want to say. So just be sure you tune in and keep a pulse on that, please. Okay. So we'll talk about that and we'll catch up with you guys on Friday. Don't forget that in the morning on Straight Talk, I'll be covering a pretty heavy topic as well as on Friday. So make sure you tune in there and we'll see you guys on Friday. Mr. Lee.
Like, share, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see y'all Friday. Peace out.
Peace.
War.